Wow. You know, having prepared for this team, we've played them in the past, so we were familiar. I mean, especially I was, but this team is so talented. Akron, I mean, they have a great post player of the year in Rachel Teka. They have shooters on the perimeter. I mean, they are so balanced in what each player brings. The point guard does a great job of running their team. 20 is their shooter, 14 scores in all ways. Their post players are versatile where they can score on the perimeter and post up. They're just so dangerous and tough to defend because if you switch, they can exploit a mismatch. If you don't switch, they do a great job of executing their sets and continuing to play out and make reads and find ways to score. And we knew it was going to be key for our defense tonight because they average 76 points a game. You know, they lead the MAC in that regard. They're the player of the year. They every game get layups for their post players running down the middle of the floor. And we worked for 2 days to defend their transition. And I was very proud of our players. I don't think they got a layup in transition just off of one of our misses. And I thought our players responded defensively. However, we dug ourselves a hole. I think we got down by 11. In the timeout, I attacked their pride, challenged them, and they responded. Mixing up the lineup and got great minutes from Stasia King, Aja Hall, Vanessa Abel, after struggling throughout 3/4 of this game, comes in and makes some big plays, and just the upperclassmen. I mean, the seniors, Wumi inside scoring, and then the 3 senior guards just refusing to lose and willing this team to win. I couldn't be more proud of the effort and the comeback that we were able to make.
Everyone thought her career with you guys was over for a while this year. What was it like to see her as the one taking over those last 3 minutes and just hitting everything?
It was great to see Vanessa take over and score the way she did because at one point when we were down 11, I had taken her out of the game because she just, in my mind, was struggling. She wasn't scoring and wasn't getting out defending, and that was more my frustration than anything, is not getting out the challenge at the 3-point line and not communicating on screens. And when I took her out of the game, in my mind, it felt so bad that this is the way she could possibly end her career on this type of game. And I give her credit that she regrouped and didn't feel sorry for herself and went in the game and had such an impact down the stretch, making free throws, getting rebounds, defending, the huge steal at midcourt, just making plays. And, like I said, these 3 senior guards just refuse to lose.
Do you think it was hard for your players to kind of get up for this game, given 72 hours ago that this point they were feeling?
We talked about that, having 2 ways to react to every situation. And, we can't control, what happened. That was out of our control. But we can't control what we do going into this tournament. And, we could either feel sorry for ourselves and not show up and not play, or come in focused, rejuvenated, and, play somewhat with a little chip on your shoulder and something to prove. And I thought at spurts we looked like we were doing that, and then I, thought at times we just looked like we were packing it in. But just proud that we didn't quit and we continued to fight and believe that we could do this.
Coach, you said in the huddle you attacked the pride and challenged them. Jocelyn, Wumi, and Vanessa were just in here talking about how they didn't want to go out, or that's how they didn't want to go out. So is that what you were talking to them about, the way this wasn't the way they wanted to finish their season?
Absolutely. I think it was a media timeout because it was a full timeout. Or it may have been the first timeout that I called that becomes a full. But I know we were in the huddle, and I was grateful that the band was playing during that time because I think the whole gym building would have heard me yelling at our team. So I'm sure the people behind me had gotten an earful. Basically, how we're defending, how we're, offensively, and just talked about this is, we're gonna end our season like this. This is the way you want to go out. Just how disappointed. I even attacked them, saying that the rumor was that you couldn't wait to be done, and just throwing things at them left and right to motivate them. And then they walk out onto the floor and then they huddle. So obviously sparked them, and I try to pick and choose my moments, but I was a little animated on the sideline.
So what was the difference when they came back out after that in the race to the lead with Vanessa Abel and Aja and Jocelyn, just maybe plays on defense in terms of...
Well, we picked up our defensive pressure, putting pressure on the point guard. We went straight man-to-man, not going back, not pressing in our 2-2-1 into our matchup. It was, more keeping true to trying to guard post on post and not switching a lot unless we had to. But offensively, Akron runs some of the same stuff that we do. So I'm sure they defended every day in practice, and I'm sure, prepared just like we prepared for their things, their offenses, they prepared for us. They were doing a good job of taking away our first and second options, and we weren't doing a very good job of playing out of them. We have sets and quick hitters that we play out of into motion where we need movement, ball movement, player movement. We became stagnant, and so we switched to go to our motion, which I felt gave us more player movement. We were setting more screens. We were opening up driving lanes, giving Wumi more room on the block to work. When we were standing around, they were able to sit in her lap and not allow entry passes into the post, or they were able to help when the ball did go inside. So I just thought we were more aggressive offensively and trying to make plays, getting to the basket, getting to the free throw line. And that was a big difference for us, going 15 of 16 from the free throw line in this game.
Obviously, something you talked about back in the A-10s was surviving events. So what's the mindset going forward coming out of this game, playing with a chip on their shoulder?
We survived, and we're advancing. Going into the next round, I think they're all excited about the win, and we talk about preparing for practice tomorrow, and then we get word that potentially it's a 1 o'clock game. So that just bumps up everything of having to travel tomorrow now and get ready for your next opponent, which a lot of times is good. You don't have time to rest and recover or think about anything. Is now on to the next one and become road warriors, because Bowling Green is very good. Ironically, they're in the same conference as Akron, so I have seen them play. And when we played Dayton, I went back and watched that game because that was the only team that had beaten Dayton. So I have seen them, and they're very good. They're very similar to Akron, where they have shooters and they have a good post game. I think they're very talented.
Do you think a game like this can sort of kickstart the competitive juices a little bit in this tournament? And they weren't excited before a competitive game. They're pretty excited about the rest of the way now.
I hope so. I hope it starts our team and just gives us confidence going into the next game. But that was the comfort of being at home and having the crowd, and I thought the crowd was great. They gave us energy. It was a difference maker for us. Now we have to go on the road, and I've seen Bowling Green's crowds on film, so I know they draw well, and that'll obviously be an advantage. We always talk about having to be 10 points better than your opponent when you're going on the road. So obviously we've got to. It'll be tougher if we dig ourselves a hole to be able to come back from, but. When the ball goes up, we'll be ready to play.
You're definitely at Bowling Green on that.
Yes. Okay. Thanks, guys. Thank you for coming. Appreciate you. Thank you.